All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to talk about something absolutely critical, the Roth IRA 5-year rules. You might think all your Roth money is totally safe from taxes, but listen, if you don't get these rules, you could be in for a really nasty surprise. So let's just kick things off with a big question, one that honestly trips up thousands of people year after year. You've done everything right? You opened a Roth IRA, you're saving, but is that money truly tax-free when you think it is? The common belief is that the second you hit age 59 and a half, bam, the doors swing open and all that Roth IRA money is yours, totally tax-free. But the reality? Oh, it's a little different. You could literally be 62 years old and still get smacked with a tax bill if you don't understand that there are two separate 5-year clocks that started ticking the moment you got into the Roth game. Okay, let's dive into the first clock. This is the contribution 5-year rule. And here's the absolute first thing you need to get. This clock has nothing to do with the money you put in. Nope, it is all about when your investment earnings, the growth, become qualified for tax-free withdrawals. So what is this rule really? Well, think of it as a 5-year waiting period. That's it, a 5-year period that has to pass before you can touch your investment earnings tax-free. But, and this is a big but, the most important part of this rule isn't how long it is, it's when it actually starts. Okay, now here's a little detail that so many people miss, but it's the key to getting your earnings sooner. It's all about when this clock actually starts. And it does not start on the day you deposit the money. No, it starts on January 1st of the tax year of your very first contribution. So look at this example. You make your 2025 contribution way over on April 10th, 2026. But guess what? Your clock already started ticking way back on January 1st, 2025. You just shaved more than a year off your wait time just by knowing that one little thing. How cool is that? So let's be super clear on this. The crucial point here is that we're only talking about your earnings, the growth on your investments. The money you personally put into the account, your direct contributions, that's always yours. I'll say it again, always. You can pull that money out at any time, any age, for any reason, with absolutely zero taxes and zero penalties. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. What happens if you touch those earnings too soon? Look at that first row. If you're under 59 and a half and that 5-year clock isn't done, you get hit with a double whammy. Income tax on the earnings plus a 10% penalty. Ouch. Now look at the second row. Let's say you're over 59 and a half. Great. Your age protects you from that nasty penalty. But, and this is what trips people up, you will still owe income tax on those earnings until that 5-year clock is satisfied. But hold on, we're not done with clocks just yet. This is where it gets a little more complex because there's a second clock, and this one applies specifically to Roth conversions. That's right, it's not just one and done. Every single time you move money from a pre-tax account, like a traditional IRA or a 401k, into your Roth IRA, that's called a conversion, you trigger a brand new, totally separate 5-year clock just for that specific chunk of money. Let's see how this plays out. Say you convert some money in 2025. Boom! A clock starts for that money on January 1st, 2025. Then, you decide to do another conversion in 2026. Guess what? You just started a second, completely separate clock for that new amount. And you do it again in 2027. So now, you're juggling 3 different conversion clocks, all ticking away at the same time on top of your main contribution clock. Now, the penalty for breaking this rule is different, and honestly, it can be a lot harsher. If you're under 59 and a half and you pull out a converted amount before its 5-year clock is up, you'll pay a 10% penalty on the entire amount you took out. But here's the really good news. Just like with the other clock, turning 59 and a half is your get-out-of-jail-free card. Once you pass that age, that 10% penalty risk on your converted money, it just goes away, even if its 5-year clock isn't quite finished yet. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Multiple clocks, different rules, this sounds like a total minefield. But here's the thing. The IRS has actually built in a really logical safety net. It's a system that works in your favor and makes everything a whole lot simpler when it's time to take money out. See, the IRS has this strict order of operations for withdrawals. They assume your money comes out in this exact order. First up, all of your contributions. They come out first and they're always tax-free and penalty-free. Only when every penny of your contributions is gone do you even start to touch your converted amounts. And even then, you start with the oldest one first. And what's dead last? The very last dollars to come out of your account are your earnings. This withdrawal order is an absolute game changer. It is huge, especially for people in their 50s who might be looking for a bit more financial flexibility. Think about it. It means you could have, say, $40,000 in contributions and $15,000 in earnings. If you suddenly need 30 grand for an emergency, you can just pull it right out. The IRS sees all of that as just a return of your contributions, so it's completely tax-free and penalty-free. This isn't just a retirement account anymore. It's a powerful, flexible emergency fund. So, what's the bottom line here? What should you do with all this information, like, right now? Well, here is a simple, actionable plan to make sure you're totally set up for success. All right, first things first, if you don't have a Roth IRA, open one now. Even if it's just with a small amount, that gets that all-important first 5-year clock ticking. Second, contribute as much as you can. Third, if you're doing conversions, just keep a simple spreadsheet. Track the date and the amount of each one. It'll save you headaches later. And finally, never forget that powerful withdrawal order. Your contributions are always your safe, accessible cash buffer. And hey, just as a quick reminder, for the 2025 tax year, if you're age 50 or over, you can put in a full $8,000. That's a pretty significant chunk of change to get growing in a totally tax-free environment. Look, at the end of the day, these 5-year rules aren't designed to be traps. They're not there to scare you or catch you. They are specifically designed to encourage long-term investing. They're meant to reward those of us who have the patience to let our money grow for what it's really for, retirement. So understanding these rules and getting your clocks ticking today, that is the absolute key to unlocking true tax-free wealth down the road. But what happens if you want to contribute and you find out, uh-oh, my income is too high? Don't worry, there's a strategy for that. And you're going to want to join us next time as we walk you step by step through the Backdoor Roth IRA.
Thank you for watching the 5-Year Clocks Explained, when your Roth money becomes truly tax-free. See you in the next episode.